I'm a huge fangirl of a thoughtful warm-up. Probably more so for like a class, CrossFit or something like that. Running, I do a warm-up. It's super basic. But I will say that that's the thing I think I get most irritated about. I used to not go to classes because I was like, oh, I don't like being told what to do. Now I like being told what to do, except for when it's like that super generic, like a gym I used to go to, they would do a red line, which was basically like every single high school drill, track drill there ever was. And if you're a mom, that's basically like third circle of hell. Is you walk into class, you're doing the warm up, and then they're like, oh, hey, let's do double unders for a warm up, or let's do high knee drills, or stupid things like that. And you're not even 30 seconds into the quote warm up, and you're already, having pelvic floor symptoms. And I think there really just is this gap between basic, like, I don't know, box fitness, where you're like, oh, let's warm up with some jumping jacks, and just really just very like, I put it akin to like third grade reading level. Like that's very third grade reading level. Like you took a weekend training course, you warm up with a jumping jack. I think if you scan the room, even if it's what's programmed, even if your warm up is your coach and the trainer and they program your warm up for you, you just fill in the gaps here. And you scan the room and there's a bunch of moms in there, please don't start there. I will tell you, and full disclosure, I can't do double unders. I've never been able to. It's not something I've put my time and effort into. Do not tell me at 5:30 a.m. that we're going to warm up for our double unders by doing double unders. And that's the very, very first thing you're doing cold. Why, you ask? One, my brain ain't awake, but two, like your pelvic floor functions a lot more like a dimmer switch than it does an off-on switch. And so a lot of moms, especially when they're getting, just getting back to workouts, the brain hasn't made that transition yet. Nor have many moms realized that they need to kind of pursue impact progressions. And so it's kind of like your deer in headlights. And of course, once it starts and then you're freaked out about it, it gets worse because your pelvic floor is all like freaking out and whatnot. And so it makes me so mad. But that's one of the things that I do with moms. I'm like, all right, tell me what their typical warm-up is. This is what we're going to do instead. And it might be as simple as, stand and bounce in place. Or when they do this, you're going to replace it with that. And by the way, step jacks are not a impact replacement for jumping jacks. You've got to actually do a little bouncing or impact or that sort of thing. But moms get stuck in this and like, oh, I'm going to do this modification. And then they wonder why they never get better because they're not actually introducing the appropriate amount of impact. So totally on board with not necessarily doing what they're asking you to do or what's programmed, but can we do something along the lines of impact? And so I guess the moral of the story here is if you're a coach or a trainer and you work with moms, you don't have to ask them what's going on, but can we not start with jumping jacks or double unders or let's warm up with some box jumps? Like, no, I don't care what time class is. Because do you know what it took for that mom to get up and walk in your door that day? Like probably a lot. And they don't need to be hit in the face in the first 30 seconds with leakage or prolapse symptoms or freaking out because they're worried that they can't do it. If you are a mom and you're running into those scenarios, like definitely DM me. I'm happy to give you kind of some recommendations that I give to a lot of my clients in common situations. But like, don't skip the impact. We need to figure out how to back it up. So if it's warm up with double unders, yeah, maybe we don't warm up with double unders, but maybe we do some bouncing or maybe we do just anything to start to get the brain dialed into that, getting ready for that dimmer switch impact strategy. But yeah, just like can we move beyond the third grade reading level of basic warm-ups? Like, let's have some intention. Let's have some methodical reasons. And that's just impact. Like, I'm also a huge fan of people that actually program the warm-up for the workout and do the same freaking warm-up regardless of what's programmed that day. But I digress. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, if you're a coach or trainer and you're guilty of this, or, if you're a mom and you're like, yeah, okay, my coach or trainer is doing this, like definitely DM me. I'm happy to kind of toss around some ideas. I'm not guilt tripping here. I'm just saying we can do better than third grade reading level. We can move up a bit. I believe in you. Hop in my DMs. I'd love to kind of hear what your thoughts are on this. If this has happened to you, or if this is something that you know that you do and you're ready to kind of get a little bit better. Move on.